I don't follow the norms of style. I follow what I like personally.
Hazel Stabler is in her happy place when she's at the sewing machine. Here, she stitches her designs into finished garments, each one of a kind.
It's my safe space and my decompression. I have a lot of, I work on the school board, and, sometimes it's a lot of pressure and commitment, and this gives me an outlet to release my tension and de-stress.
Here, Stabler doesn't have to think about school closings and budget issues as a Wichita School Board member. At this video session, she's thinking about Paris, France, and the Paris Fashion Week.
Well, it's a great experience for me, and like I said, a great opportunity for me to share what I do. And if someone happens to, because I do make my own patterns, if someone would be interested in purchasing, or the fabric that's been designed that I use, maybe it would be an opportunity to market that.
The Paris Fashion Week is about couture, the business of designing, making, and selling fashionable, custom-made clothing. And while Stabler understands couture, sharing her native culture is of greater importance to her.
But as far as the runway and showing what I'm doing in Paris, the significance is to share my culture in a whole nother realm, a whole nother place where they don't know really much about Native people.
Showing her fashions, she says, opens doors of communication and reminds others, quote, "We're still here." Stabler says in Europe, she gets asked questions that show a great lack of knowledge about Native American culture.
Natives are still here. We're thriving, we're educated, we're working, we're members of society. One question that I always get asked is, do you live in a teepee? What kind of food do you eat? What kind of, what do you drive? And people, there's a misconception as to our assimilation into society about success. Europeans are very intrigued with cowboys and Indians.
Stabler is always happy to remind Europeans about the successes of Native Americans while also sharing her culture through her fashions.
Not just my story, but stories of my ancestors, stories of my culture. The purpose of using the women. Women are very strong in our culture, and we're leaders and very well, highly respected in our societies.
She calls these fabric designs the girlfriends because she says they're all traditional women. Stabler often uses elk teeth in her native designs.
This fabric right here, we're calling it the girlfriends because it's all traditional women, and I have several pieces that incorporate this design in it. And then elk teeth, of course, elk teeth. I'm Ojibwe, and more northern tribes use elk teeth to embellish their clothing. So I thought that was important. Here is a plain black shirt, and I'll actually be sewing some elk teeth on here. Oh. So I will embellish this with elk teeth.
Stabler draws upon the traditions in her two native cultures.
So I am Yaqui and Ojibwe.
Her mother was of the Yaqui tribe in southern Arizona, her father Ojibwe from the Great Lakes region. The building of the railroads brought them to Kansas.
These are my scraps that I do not throw away because I don't know what I might need.
Stabler was born in Arkansas City and raised in Emporia. Stabler says she had no inclination to sew as a youth.
I wasn't interested. I never took sewing classes. I took shop classes.
As a teenager, she wasn't interested in making her own clothes, but she was very interested in making fashion statements.
As a debater, I always went to vintage stores and bought wool suits, the kind that they wore in the 30s and 40s, the long pencil skirts and the jackets, and I dressed impeccably.
Even though Stabler is getting invitations to major fashion shows, she says she doesn't purposely follow current fashion trends. She pursues simply what appeals to her. She sells her dresses as one-of-a-kind outfits and sells custom-made garments. Stabler also makes non-native clothing, but when it comes to fashion shows, she sees it as an opportunity to share her native culture.
But as far as the runway and showing what I'm doing in Paris, the significance is to share my culture in a whole nother realm, a whole nother place where they don't know really much about Native people.
Stabler has had her share of personal trials and tribulations with cancer issues. She's a survivor of 2 cancers in the past year. She's now cancer-free. She says she'll probably do Milan next year, which means starting all over again with designing clothes.
It's a great experience for me, and like I said, a great opportunity for me to share what I do.
She says interest in native clothing has increased since the movie Killers of the Flower Moon came out.
It's like a cycle. Indian fashion and Indian Western styles are like we get recycled. And I think we're in that recycling mode right now where there's a great interest in Western and Southwestern wear.
And that works out well for her designs. So with Paris behind her, she'll be thinking about what to pack for Milan and show the Italians her native fashions. For Positively Kansas, this is Chris Frank reporting.
I did not do this beadwork.